Guys see it in box, they say, I'm going to go for it, and they went for it there.
So Dominic Shaw will score the first goal of the game, and will put Ohio Horde on top by a score of 1-0. If you weren't with us for the first game, 4 10-minute quarters, running clock. Each team gets 1 timeout per half, and so this will zoom by in a hurry.
I think both of these teams so far being a little bit more physical than the first game, but it seems like they're adjusting more to the box style of play.
Out on top, left-handed shot. That'll go wide by Harless as it caroms around to the far side of the field. Battle here for the ground ball, and it'll be won by Aiden Evans here for Ohio Horde.
Yeah, both of these teams not afraid off ball to hit each other. I think we're going to see a fight in this game.
Here's Barkheimer out of the left wing. Works it out on top, takes a couple of shots from the defense, leaning in hard, shoots low, and scores. Boy, that was quite a grind out on top and a terrific goal.
Definitely comfortable shooting with contact, making the most of the angle he had, putting it low. Keeper was not ready for it. I think a shot with that much contact is pretty rare, so it's nice to see someone really pulling and going for it and it paying off. I think those risky attempts are what you see in box lacrosse, and I'm excited to see more of them today.
So 3 minutes gone by here in the opening quarter. And it is 2-0 now in favor of Ohio Horde, and another quick face-off win and an opportunity here. Again, we saw in the last game, Resolute won a bunch of early face-offs, but then as the game wore on, Overpower was more successful in the face-off X. And here early on, the face-offs being controlled by Ohio Horde, who has the 2-goal lead. After making some substitutions, shot here, good save will be made right there by Wade. He'll pick it up in the circle, and now back the other way will come the Steemers for just their second offensive possession here in the early going. We played 3.5 minutes.
It'll be exciting to see what they can do now that they have a full and settled possession. Nice to see them attack the cage.
This will be Minetti giving it up out on top. Now down, working in behind will be Carawan. Blake Carawan will work it over in front. Ball got free behind, and it's going to be a turnover, and it'll head back over for Ohio Horde. 4 minutes played here in the first. It's 2-0 in favor of Ohio Horde.
Looks like a step in the crease there. Made the cut, didn't catch the ball. No opportunity to score, so they will send it the other way.
Right out in front, right on the doorstep. Did that one cross the line? Never heard a whistle. Play on, they say.
I know for a fact that crossed the line, but refs didn't see it. We, again, have the beautiful skybox view. So.
Didn't have a ton of dispute there from Ohio Horde.
No. So I think good response from the Steemers to just kind of pull it out of the goal and keep playing.
Just go play, right?
Yeah, there's no whistle.
Out on top, shot coming. That one will go wide by Clark. Now the battle from in behind. And finally, we had a shot clock violation, I think ended up going against the Steemers. And so with under 5 minutes to play now, I take that back. It's going to be something against Ohio Horde here, and it will be Steamer possession. So still looking for their first goal, trailing 2-0, 4:45 to play. Aiden Evans, or beg your pardon, on the other side, Xander Johnson starts things off here for, in fact, we had a penalty called against Ohio Horde. So our first man-up opportunity of the night will go for the Steemers.
Yeah, so far the refs have been letting guys play. This is the first penalty of both games. You see, I think it was a holding call. That's something that can happen in this game when you go for a lot of picks.
So the Steemers end up turning it over on their possession. So now Ohio Horde will have an opportunity here to run out the remainder of the penalty. Zagornis, or take that back, Jacob Smith will try and run things out here for Ohio Horde. Takes a couple of shots, tries a shot, that'll go wide. And Steemers will come away with possession, and Blake Carawan will turn and hand it off now.
Steemers opting for a more conservative approach to being a man up on defense. Instead of sending 2 guys to double the ball, they just have one sit home and say, hey, as long as we have pressure on the ball, they're not going to get a quality shot. We can use that shot clock in our favor.
And we've got a timeout that is used here, Jonathan, by the Steemers. So they've kind of been a little bit out of sync here early on. We had noted in the first game tonight how the team specifically in the first looked way more in sync than a bunch of players who were just getting together and playing their first game tonight. They had modified practices here last night to kind of introduce themselves if you didn't already know each other in the tight lacrosse community. But we've seen the Steemers here in this first quarter really out of sync so far offensively.
Their offensive rhythm has been pretty poor so far. I think it's just one of those things, adjusting to people. I see a lot more regular lacrosse helmets as opposed to box lacrosse helmets with these guys, so I'm wondering if there's a little bit less experience indoors for some of these guys, and they'll just need to make that adjustments. This game so far has been more of what I'd expect to see when you put a lot of guys together and just go out and play.
Right. 3:53 remaining here in the first quarter. 2-0 in favor of Ohio Horde here in the opening quarter of play, and the Steemers, who used that timeout, will begin with the possession. And Xander Johnson will run it quickly into the offensive end here for the Steemers.
Wondering if they'll come out and try and use a set, try and get some sort of motion or look.
Still a man up here. Shot, almost a shot from out on top. Patient here. Good look down low, but it whistles wide. It'll be gathered by Minetti. Now from the near side, that shot will carry him off of the post. Back out on top. Carawan shot low, and a save made by Lopez. 3 pretty good looks that time by the Steemers in the man up, but still couldn't score.
Yeah, a shot from that distance, especially low, is going to need to have a lot more speed for it to go in, especially against some adequate keepers.
They still maintain possession, but finally out in front of the cage, it gets turned over and taken away here by Gleason.
Quite a battle down there.
Closing in on 3 to play here in the opening quarter. 2-on-1. They try and tap it in from the far side post. Couldn't get it to go. And we're going to have a push here against Ohio Horde, and it'll be possession here for the Steemers with 2:48 to play in the first quarter.
Being stacked up against the board is nobody's friend, and the refs know that too, so they're pretty quick to make calls when players get stuck kind of fishing for a ground ball like that.
So the penalty has finally expired. We're back to 5-on-5. 2.5 minutes to play first quarter. Right out in front, and the first goal of the game is going to be scored by Jackson Carawan, and the Steemers finally on the board.
Carawan using his speed there, got away from the contact that was slowing him down initially, streaked right towards the goal, and with a great finish, jogs off the field.
Well, the good news for the Steemers, Jonathan, is they went all of that time and only allowed the 2 early goals. And in spite of the fact that they've gotten off to a slow start, they're only down by 1, and they've got possession here as Sitek. Great feed out in front. Terrific save on the shot by Walford. Great save by Andy Lopez. And now in transition, here comes Ohio Horde. It'll be Cade Galco here on the far side. He'll try and jump in, and he scores. It looked like for a moment he might settle and let everybody fill in, but then he accelerated to the goal and scored.
Playing box, you have to know when your moment is to go to the goal. You have to be aggressive. It pays off quite often. When you're matched up one-on-one low, you know you can increase your angle and get to the cage. You'll see a lot of players in box do S dodges, where they'll get down the alley and then shuffle inside. Most of the goals today and a lot of the dodging attempts have been something of that dodge.
So Galco will score his first. 3-1 now in favor of Ohio Horde. Face-off win here by the Steemers. That diving attempt by Minetti is no good. Brown ball will be picked up by Blake Carawan here for the Steemers. Less than a minute to play here in our first quarter. Now an open shot out in front by Schilling, and that'll fire off the post. Comes all the way back out. Zagorny has had an opportunity at it. He'll battle for that ground ball. And finally, it comes back into the hands of Zagornius. Shot down low. That'll go wide. Now 2 players fighting over the same ground ball. Turns into a shot clock violation with 33 seconds to play in the quarter. In transition, Ohio Horde back the other way.
That last possession, the Steemers, I think, got a little bit too much into the mindset of sharing is caring. Had an unprotected attempt at the goal. Should have just taken some steps in and gone for a shot.
Going to basically hold for the last shot here, Ohio Horde, if they so choose. Clocked out at 12 seconds. Shot from out in front, wide by Gleason. Now it'll be picked up back in behind by Whalen, and it turns into a shot clock violation. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and 1, and that shot will not count as it came after the horn. Exciting first quarter here between Ohio Horde and the Stanley Steemers. It is 3-1 in favor of Ohio Horde. We'll return to Resolute Athletic Complex after this timeout. About ready to begin our second quarter of action here. And Ohio Horde in the green with a 3-1 advantage. Teams will change ends. That means that Andy Lopez, keeper, is to our left. Josh Wade is to our right. And in the face-off X, the win will go for Gavin Dalton. And he will take it, and it'll be a possession to start the second quarter here for Ohio Horde.
If that changes sides, note now the offense has that fast break advantage. They can sub closer to the opposing team's goal. That leads to a lot of fast break opportunities.
Again, trying to dunk it from the wing that time was Jacob Smith. They stay in possession. That shot, and we're going to get a violation in the crease there for Ohio Horde. 30 seconds in, Steemers will have their first possession of the second quarter. And we're going to get an over and back on a terrific defensive play. Now picking it up, Dominic Shaw. Feed across. That shot off the crossbar by Galco. Second attempt also doesn't go. And now they'll settle things down here a minute into our second quarter.
I think if this Horde team can start getting these on cage, we'll see this score differential start to increase dramatically.
There's a wide open shot from out in front, but a terrific save made by Wade. And the ground ball won there by the Steemers. They'll try and transition very quickly. Manetti back the other direction off balance, saved there, and picked up now by Ohio Horde as Lopez made the save point blank. Now racing it back the other direction. Pass across, and that shot will go wide. Ground ball being battled for. And now it'll go all the way down into the corner. And finally, the Steemers will come out of there.
Both teams, lots of fast break action going on right now.
That shot goes wide by Sitek. Another good save by Lopez. Steemers keep the possession, however.
They need to settle it down here. I think they want to start climbing back. They need to just score a goal in 5-on-5. Get comfortable with how that feels. Recognize what they need to do to get the ball in the back of the net.
Van Voris will give it up. Zagornius lost the handle of it. Shot clock winding down won't matter. Ohio Horde will come away with the possession. 7:45 to play here in the second quarter.
Horde so far a physical team.
And this ball just thrown back towards midfield, and the Steemers will pick it up. It's a 1-on-2, so Max Schilling, who has really no opportunity here, will just slow things down.
Both teams huffing and puffing quite a bit right now. This transition, this back and forth, even with a big lineup on the bench, subbing and moving is going to tire you out.
20 available players per side, and then the keeper makes it 21. This possession for the Steemers is lost. Ground ball battle in behind the cage, and that'll be a violation as that was just covered up by Nate Clark for Ohio Horde. He made sure the Steemers weren't going to get it back. 3 minutes have been played here in the second quarter. No scoring here in this period. 3-1. In favor of Ohio Horde. This will be Harless down in the corner.
Let's hope that scoring changes real quick here. More goals is more action. I'm looking for that.
Going to be a turnover here. And covering it up nicely was Wade, the goalie. And now the Steemers will come back in transition the other way. They will substitute for their offensive players. Van Voris out of the left-hand side, he and Luca Manetti. Now a shot from out on top by Jackson Carawan, and another good save by Lopez.
Carawan has had a lot of the offensive takes for this Steemers team. I'd like to see someone else try and go for goal.
Dominic Shaw gets out in front. That one goes off the post. Boy, a number of those by Ohio Horde here in this period. Now a great play by Caden Manetti. He had a man to his right, looked him off, shoots and scores.
That early shot sometimes can mess with keepers. They're expecting you to drag out the possession, to drag out the time they have to get to goal. But instead, an early shot, you can see messes with that keeper's rhythm, and one goes in the back of the net.
So Caden Manetti will score. That'll make it 3-2 now in favor of Ohio Horde. Back to a 1-goal game, 5.5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. And the face-off will be won by Ohio Horde. Now it'll be Aiden Evans. Feeds it out in front, but a terrific defensive play made by Cooper Simpson. Now the long transition. Can Schilling catch up with it? He'll get a stick on it. Now it's a battle down here in the corner. And it looks like the Steemers still battling here. And Ohio Horde, I think, has come out of there with it down in the corner where we are blind down in the two corners here. But now another turnover, and the Steemers get it right back.
That's quite a size disparity down in that corner. You have number 5, Kramer, matched up against number 4, Camella. It's a big guy versus a little guy, but Camella making the most of it by moving quick.
Loose ball picked up by Xander Johnson, but then lost and gathered by Quincy Kramer. His pass will go ahead to Galko. Can he pick it up? No. Steemers will pick up the ground ball, and McCann will work it back the other way. Good feet ahead, but didn't connect. Ends up right into the cross of Van Voorhis. Now he'll work his way out in front, shoots wide. And the high rebound off the backboard will go to Ohio Horde.
Seems like both teams are forgetting that this is a 3x3 net, not a 6x6. Some of the ways they've been putting these shots while outside, maybe a little bit of a shooting adjustment that needs to happen before they play their next game.
Turnover again. Steemers back the other way. And a pass out ahead of the pack. Cooper Simpson couldn't come up with it. Walford will pick up the loose ball, tried to feed it out in front. And Jonathan, the two teams just trade turnovers and trade opportunities. Dominic Shaw right in front will score. Nothing that Wade could do, and Dominic Shaw will get his second goal of the game.
Very classic fake there. Brings it home with a simple move. I think feel bad a little bit right now for both teams' defensive and offensive focused players. The transition guys are getting all the glory right now.
So no opportunities in any of the settled situations at all. This game has been primarily chaos and transition. And we're going to get a violation in the face-off X, and the Steemers will have it, trailing here by a pair, 4-2, closing in on 3 minutes to play here in our first half of action. Shot in front, good save made there by Lopez. And it'll be Ohio Horde coming back the other way after a quick possession by the Steemers. Now Galko will fire it ahead, right out in front, and another goal. Eli Harless unguarded out in front. 2 straight goals here by Ohio Horde.
Horde using the sub game to their advantage, looking forward, finding guys for easy goals. If that's what Steemers are going to leave open, they're going to have a rough rest of that game.
So it'll be 5-2 now in favor of Ohio Horde, as they will have their first 3-goal lead. Face-off win will be won here by Sitek right out in front. Another great save by Lopez on the shot by Carawan, and then Lopez is able to cover it up. He's made some really good point-blank saves tonight. Lopez
has really denied the Steemers any chance at offensive rhythm. A fast break like that should be a free goal, and Lopez makes sure it doesn't happen.
Closing it on 2 to play here in our second quarter of action. 4-2 advantage here for Ohio Horde. Shot from out on top. Save made by Wade on that attempt by Aiden Evans. And the Steemers will quickly come back the other way, trailing by a pair. 1:48 to play here in the first half.
Wade stepping up there really changed the angle of that shot and made it a poor one, even with time and room.
Camella tries to fire it out in front. Boy, Lopez almost knocked it into his own goal. It's picked up by the Steemers. Feet out in front, can't get it in. Now Carawan will gather it from his knees, fires it over to Minetti. Feet across the crease, shot and a score. Mason Walford will bury it. Great effort, tic-tac-toe by the Steemers to cut it down to a 2-goal lead.
That's the ball movement you want to see, you want to start to adjust to, and you want to replicate if you're going to score. Goalie like Lopez, if he sees you and he doesn't have to change directions or change his stance, he's going to save it. So going across the crease, making him rotate his body to that degree and adjust to a quick shot is how we're going to put goals in.
First goal by Mason Walford. And that'll make it a 5-3 game under a minute to play. 50 seconds as they blow the whistle for this face-off. And that'll, I believe, go out of bounds into the netting. And the Steemers will have possession. So big possession coming up here for the Steemers, who now have a 2-on-1. Feet out in front. Shot. Another save by Lopez. Beg your pardon. Xander Johnson robbed on the doorstep on the great play by Lopez. And Ohio Horde, Jonathan, will use its only timeout they have here available in the first half with just under 30 seconds to play. And again, the game that is being played tonight by Andy Lopez in goal has been fantastic.
Love to see some stats on his percentage. He's not falling for the head fakes. He's not being drawn to the same side the offensive player is going. He's standing his ground, and he's forcing these guys to shoot right where he wants it quite often. I like even his stance when you'll see no one's taking a shot. He's covering up that goal with as much as he can. He's been using that opposite ball side leg to cover the low angles, and he's been able to step up and make some very good adjustments when the shots have come. So he's seeing the ball really well, and I think that's why the Horde have the small lead that they do in such a transition-heavy game.
So 5-3 in favor of Ohio Horde, and they'll have, unfortunately, we cannot see the shot clock. It is situated directly below our broadcast location. But
that's where it is.
Yeah, I got to guess there's about 26 seconds on the shot clock.
It's a pretty
here.
fresh one.
Yeah.
They just picked up the ball out of their own half, so I think they'll have some time.
29 seconds to go in the half. So they can pretty much take it down and drain it and try and get the final shot. This is a big last possession for both these teams here in this first half. So Ohio Horde will have it. Dominic Shaw will start with it in their defensive end. Now to the offensive zone they go. Now feed down low, diving in, shot smothered there, and a crease violation. So the Steemers will have it 10 seconds. Chance for them to get within a goal here, but a pass down low. It finds a Steamer in front of the cage, turning off the crossbar. And that'll do it for the first half of play. Alex Van Voris with the shot, and it went right off the crossbar, ending the first half.
That's some fun late low shot clock, low game clock antics. I'm surprised the ball even made it through to him, but he had good visibility, good stick skills to pick that up and try and go for goal.
All right, we've reached halftime. We'll have a 5-minute timeout, 5-3 in favor of Ohio Horde here in Columbus. Todd Bell, Jonathan Schroeder with you here at Resolute Athletic Complex. Our first half, 5-3 in favor of Ohio Horde. Quite a different first half than the game we had prior between Resolute and Overpower. That was a 2-goal win by Overpower. This one doesn't have quite the same flow, much more chaotic and much more transition-based game.
Yeah, a lot less scoring too, but again, like the first game, it might open up in the second half. Lopez making sure for the Horde, though, that there's no scoring opportunities for the Steemers.
And another incredible goal. Does that one go in? I believe so.
Yep.
But at least celebrating it. And another goal here for Ohio Horde, and another one of those dive in from behind the crease and wrap it around.
That marks the, I think, third, fourth, maybe even fifth one in the night in terms of diving goals. Again, players, if they're uncontested at crease or behind at X, they're going to do one of two things. They're going to look for a guy to feed, try and draw someone, or they're going to go for that goal.
Luke Barkheimer with the goal, and that'll make it now a 6-3 advantage in favor of Ohio Horde. And the face-off win here for the Steemers, and so they will have their first possession here of this second half.
Time for the Steemers to slow it down.
Well, turns into a quick shot, but that's
that
one
was the commentator's jinx, I think.
But that's one Jackson Carwin. He's got the lane right down the middle. He's got to take that shot.
Yeah, if there's anyone who gets a green light for the Steemers team, it's him.
So Ohio Horde will go back on offense here now with a 3-goal advantage. Now feed over here to the near side. That shot saved by Wade on the attempt there by Zach Gleason. Now Wade with a long outlet pass here. It'll connect with Minetti. But Minetti doesn't have any numbers. He's staring at a bunch of those green jerseys.
He's facing the Horde.
I dare you to give me an actual color of that green. It's not Kelly green. It's not dark green. Army green, maybe?
That's even a little ambitious. Could be too light for that. I think it's something closer to some of the baby food.
Oh, there you go.
They feed
little
kids.
Gerber baby green.
Yeah, a little Gerber baby green. And if it's not the food, it might be what comes out of them.
Afterwards,
yeah,
yes.
So.
Couple minutes into our third quarter. Ohio Horde here taking their time. Shot clock winding down, and they'll just roll it in front of the net. That was just really for anything. Landon Whalen just hoping to get something on the cage. And so the Steemers will come back the other way with closing in on 7.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Again, 4 10-minute running clocks. Each team with 1 timeout per half, and there is a unsuspecting goal from out in the wing scored by the Steemers.
Good placement there. Definitely a distance we haven't seen in this game. Keeper Lopez was not suspecting that one. Stick side hip, trickles in right next to the pipe, so really chalk that up to excellent placement. Again, too, when you're working with a 5-on-5, you can have a man in the middle of the field. He can block the keeper's vision a lot, so it's especially important for defensive players to push him out of the way, give that keeper a line of sight on the ball.
So Dylan Camella will score the goal. 4 different goal scorers so far for the Steemers, as that pass got deflected, and a really good defensive play, and in transition back the other direction now is Jacob Smith.
Smith with a great use of the stick, keeping his body in front, but saying, hey, I can hang my stick out, deflect passes, does just that.
6:30 to play here in the third quarter. They'll work it from X. Trying to feed out in front. Shot, scores! A lot of traffic out in front of the net, and the guy who made the defensive play, Jonathan, on one end, Smith will score on the other.
If Smith doesn't has looks like he has a defense little dash next to his name. It should be a transition marker next to his name, because that was definitely what you want to see out of a player. Both ways, good stop, good goal. His plus minus is slowly climbing.
Yeah, that was a really good play on both ends. Able to get that goal, and now a 3-goal lead again for Ohio Horde. Quick feed over here, and that shot and a goal. Well done by Xander Johnson. Nothing too fancy out in front. They get the goal right back.
Great work from the Steemers there. Very classic fast break, pushing right in the middle, seeing which defender will go and play you. I think if I'm the Horde there, I want to try and fake out that guy. Keep bringing him forward as much as possible. Don't commit a guy to him. Force him to make a decision. Are you going to take a poor shot or maybe a pass that you can get to?
So after each team scored twice in the second quarter, each team has already scored twice here in the third quarter. And we're still 15 seconds from the midway point, and the Steemers will have the possession here. Try and close this back to a 1-goal game. Johnson from out on top this time ties a bounce shot that'll go over top of the goal, over top of the boards, and out of play. And it'll be Ohio Horde possession here with now under 5 minutes to play in our third quarter.
I think just like the last game, both teams are getting comfortable with the idea of playing indoors. Even though they had one practice, it's still the speed, the pace of the game, especially in a high level of competition, is something they haven't seen or experienced as much. Now the second half has rolled around. They're good with it.
Steemers with a possession again. Another terrific feed out in front. It was Aiden Evans finishing, and now the last couple of possessions, Jonathan, for the first time, we're starting to see at least Ohio Horde get into some offensive sets. Both times the feed came from X.
Yeah, picturesque cutting. A lot more of the offensive looks that you'll see from good teams at this level of the game. As I said, it's about finding that rhythm. It's about recognizing how to play this game, how to deal with the close quarters, which is something a lot of people are not comfortable with initially. It's good to see both teams getting used to that and how it's leading to more goals.
And so that'll put them up 8-5. Aiden Evans with his first goal of the night. And now the Steemers trying to win this face-off here. It'll finally roll all the way back to the keeper, Wade, who will then try and fire it ahead, and he does. It'll be Carawan over here on the near side along the glass. 3:40 to play here in the third. Now he'll work it out on top. Caden Minetti. He'll try and work to his left. Good defensive effort there, and a steal and a takeaway. Stepping in front was Galco. Tries to go 1-on-2. He's got a trailer behind him. Galco will just take it all the way down into the corner, taking a bunch of body shots from Carawan. Now spinning in front, and that shot just goes wide by Galco. It still remains free and almost pops into the goal, but Wade was alert enough to get his stick on it and save it. And now the Steemers are going to try and move in here. 2-on-2. Luca Minetti lost the handle of it. The Horde back in transition. It'll be Barkheimer the other direction. Right down the alley, and he scores. Too easy for Luke Barkheimer, his second goal. Both of them coming here in the third.
Pins and needles, defensive stand for the Steemers leads to a quick transition goal the other way for the Horde. I think no one came up and stepped up to play him, so he just went right down the middle of the field and got the shot he wanted. I think one of the things that stood out to me in that little session right there was Carawan's speed to shut down that fast break. He's been an offensive player for the most part, but does a good job getting back. Not surprised he's the main offensive threat for the Steemers team.
So Barkheimer and Shaw each with 2 goals apiece now for the Ohio Horde, who now have a 4-goal advantage, 9-5 with 2:13 to play now in the third quarter. And a takeaway here, Ohio Horde is racing back the other direction. Nate Clark takes it right in and scores. 3 straight now by the Horde.
Good work from the defensive man right there. Just picking that ball up, realizing there's no one ahead of him. Does a good job putting it right in the back of the net, uncontested.
And our first 5-goal advantage of the night comes with less than now 2 minutes to play here in the third. And after the 2 teams were trading blows here to start this third quarter, 3 in a row by Ohio Horde have them up by a score of 10-5.
It's very similar to the last game. The score was at one point 10-5.
Yep, you're right.
And now Steemers the opportunity, maybe just like Resolute, to come back and try and change the nature of this game.
Good play picking up Tremel Duncan for the Steemers, and now they'll have the possession here, and they've got to get a couple of goals here. It would start late here in this third quarter. If they could get one and get it back to 4 with now 1 minute to go. Out on the far side, Van Voorhis. Shot clock winding down. He just has to fire it towards the cage, and very calmly, Lopez will knock it down and comes away with it. Andy Lopez might be the difference in this game here tonight. He has played superbly in net. Now late here in the third, a chance for Ohio Horde to add one more. Now a pickup here by Blackwell, got knocked to the ground, still 30 seconds to go. Shot clock winding down here for the Horde, and he scores. Zach Blackwell, Jonathan, just worked his way from one side of the field to the other and turned and put it right in the upper left-hand corner.
Yeah, he pulled a full 360. I think he was following the crease line that whole time. Impressive work from him. Going back to what you said about Lopez making those big saves early gave the Horde an opportunity to really play more of their settled offense, get comfortable with the game quicker because they had more possessions. I think that's what's directly translated to their success in the second half.
And that goal has taken us to the end of the third quarter. That is now an 11-5 advantage in favor of Ohio Horde. Fourth quarter is coming up next. Our fourth quarter here at Resolute Athletic Complex in Columbus, about ready to get underway. 11-5 in favor of Ohio Horde as they have a big 6-goal third period after scoring 5 in the first half. And they're going to have the first possession here in our fourth quarter.
Be curious to see if the Horde's trend of high scoring can continue in this second half, or if that was just a fluke and a run of momentum that they have.
Pass out in front didn't connect, but they'll maintain the possession. Dominic Shaw will come up with a ground ball. Shot clock winding down here for Ohio Horde. One last opportunity here. Harless tries to feed it out in front. Boy, what a great catch and opportunity by Barkheimer. Didn't get the goal. Good save that time by Wade. And now the Steemers back the other direction.
Some heroic antics there. If he didn't get a goal, we would have given him some points for style.
No kidding. Steemers, now's where they got to value their possessions.
Absolutely.
Down by 6. Minetti, that shot low, and I guess it crept across the line, and it's a goal. Well as Lopez has played tonight, that one just got under his pads and snuck in.
Looked like he didn't have a strong enough grip on his stick. I saw it looks like it hit the corner of it, kind of rotated the stick, and the ball was able to trickle in. So I think he's going to probably want that one back and probably tighten up his grip, especially when the 5-hole shots are coming in. Players that can put speed on the ball, again, we saw it before. You get a good bounce, go off the shin guard into the goal. It happens. Ohio Box Lacrosse is a high-scoring game.
Cade Minetti with his second goal of the night for the Steemers, so he becomes the first Stanley Steemer player with 2 goals this evening. Good save there by Wade. They're going to need to have have a big fourth quarter in this one. He comes up with that. Will fire it ahead. Picked up out in front. Shot goes wide by Carawan, and then Lopez will cover it up. Boy, that would have been a great opportunity to crawl back into this game. Now trailing by 5. Here is Nate Clark. Behind the back pass. Out in front. Colliding with the keeper. And the save is made. And the Steemers back in transition. Another open opportunity for Schilling. That shot goes wide.
Steemers need to put these fast break opportunities on net.
I mean, you can't go for 2 hitting the net and 1 on nobody's, right?
Especially uncontested.
And then back the other way. That one pass goes over the head. Steemers come away with it. A third opportunity maybe here. Luca Minetti had it checked from behind away from him.
This is reminiscent of more of that first quarter of this game. Kind of the chaotic sloppiness of it. Playing definitely into the advantage of the Horde here, who have a big goal lead.
Well, the Steemers have had their opportunities, obviously, here in the first 2.5 minutes of this fourth quarter, but haven't taken advantage of it.
They might need to go have a shooting clinic after this game.
There will be a save made by Wade, who's played solid to start the period. Another strong outlet ahead, but unable to come up with the one hopper that time was Blake Carawan. And so back the other direction now. I think we got too many on the field for Ohio Horde maybe.
The Steemers are want to make it back to this game. They should do it through settled possessions. They keep trying to force some ambitious transition looks, and it's not panning out for them.
6:45 to play here in the fourth quarter, and another goal scored by Minetti as he was able to bounce that one in. So back-to-back goals by Caden Minetti, and that'll make it now a 4-goal game.
Another look with a bounce off the shin guard again, but had a lot of speed. Again, being confident as an outside shooter in box lacrosse is something that can take some time to get used to. Sometimes if you make a shot, it goes too wide or keeper has an easy pickup. Feels like you're wasting a possession. But you got to remember that shot clock is quick. If you don't have a good look now, you might not have one later. Sometimes you have to take a chance, especially when you're trying to come back.
So the last 4 goals of the third quarter were scored by Ohio Horde. Now the first 2 by Minetti and the Steemers, and they've got a chance to make it 3 straight here and make this interesting here in the fourth. Jackson Caraway shot scores! Another low missile by Jackson Carawan this time, and it's 11-8.
Carawan, an amazing athlete so far, showing off his speed, good ball handling, and good shooting skill. You can tell every time he picks up the ball, he wants to go to goal. And generally, there haven't been people who, when he gets the ball with time and room, that have been able to stop him.
That is his second goal of the night. And all of a sudden, for Ohio Horde, who had a sizable advantage to start this period, maybe start to have to get the intensity level back up here as this fourth quarter winds down. Closing in on 5:15 to play. Down the alley, great feed out in front. Couple of head fake shot goes wide. And the ball comes out of there for the Steemers, who again leak a player out in front. And a shot low save as Blake Carawan couldn't get it to go. And Ohio Horde will come out of it, and another great play by Lopez.
Lopez hanging that opposite side leg far out. So if they try and put it low for an easy goal, it doesn't happen. Demonstrating why that's a benefit and why that's a good choice in that possession there.
Now Steemers with possession, or I beg your pardon, Ohio Horde with possession. And a pass out in front, stolen away. Camella takes it, gets a partner to his right, and shoots it anyways and scores. Got it around the defender, and now 4 straight by Ohio Horde, and the Steemers are going to call a timeout as they're back to within 2.
Very impressive for the Steemers. They're finding offense late in this game, and it doesn't look like the Horde has been able to handle it well. I think they've been up this game. They've said, hey, we know what we're doing. We have a plan, and it's working. When that starts to fall apart, you wonder, can they stay on top? Can they stay focused? And can they play the game that's gotten them the lead to start with?
Boy, momentum is a funny thing. It looked like this was put away by Ohio Horde, leading 11-5 going to the fourth quarter. But 4 consecutive goals over the course of 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And now with 4:27 to play here in the fourth quarter, it's a 2-goal game. And all the momentum right now is wearing yellow and black.
And this is why we love box lacrosse, right? I mean, imagine a 6-goal game in soccer or hockey or even field lacrosse, and you're thinking, okay, it's time to pack up and go home. But a game like this, A short field, transition opportunities, and lots of chances to score means that there's a lot of fun action yet to be played, even with 4 minutes and 27 seconds left in this game.
Jonathan, think where this game would be if not for the big saves by Lopez at the start of this quarter. Remember, the Steemers had all of those opportunities in the first couple of moments and didn't convert.
3 or 4, yeah. We could be seeing an even game right now. And Wade, too, had a couple chances, started to step up.
And he's played very well here. This is best stretch that he has played is here in this fourth quarter.
Absolutely. I think if Lopez can get another big stop from the outside, get comfortable taking those range shots again, we could see this game start to go to the Horde once more.
4:27 to play. Steemers use their only timeout here of this second half. They win the faceoff. Sitek goes right down. Good defense getting back by Gauco. And a wise decision by Sitek, but they nearly turn it over. He was able to play his own pass off of the wall. Now the possession here for the Steemers.
Nothing like the self-assist. If your teammates can't do it, then maybe you can.
Shot clock winding down. They got to take a shot. Feet out in front. And a score! Jackson Carawan.
Carawan is the man for the Steemers team. He moves very, very, very efficiently on offense. He has great vision. I love the way even he backpedals. He looks athletic. He looks ready to cut and move. He's a constant threat, and I think the Horde need to shut him down if they want to keep their lead late into this game.
So Carawan and Minetti each with 3 goals in this game. Minetti's got 2 in the period. Carawan's got 2 in the period. And the other one coming for Camella. And a huge face-off win for the Horde to maybe try and slow down this momentum. It's 11-10 Ohio Horde with 3:18 to play here in the fourth quarter. Boy, what a crazy beginning of this.
Yeah, this is definitely the lacrosse I like to watch.
Inside, oh, and it creeps in behind Wade. And another diving goal from behind the cage again here for the Ohio Horde. That's about their 3rd of the night.
Yeah, if I'm a coach and I'm in this league, I'm wondering if somehow I run a play just to get a guy to X so he can dive uncontested against this keeper. It's been happening so much. I think teams are going to need to learn to adjust and defend this if they want to shut down some of these guys on offense.
So that goal will push it back out to a 2-goal advantage. Steemers kicking it around, trying to come up with the ground ball.
This one's going to be big, this possession right now.
Player lost a glove. And finally, the Steemers will come out of it as Zagornius now will get it ahead. Ball jarred free on a double team. Scooping up the ground ball, Zagornius again. Now it'll be Camella. Shot clock going to be winding down here. They spent all their time just trying to get possession. Now out in front, pass over to the wing. Shot, another save by Lopez on that low heater by Caden Minetti. And we're down to under 2 minutes to go in a 2-goal game.
Yeah, with this close score now, keep in mind a rule is now clock is going to stop on timeouts. So that'll be important if people are trying to add some strategy, trying to run some plays. Steemers get that possession. They're 1 goal down. That could be important.
And we're going to get a crease violation as they tried to dunk it in from behind again. You know, the last time you had Dominic Shaw with the goal, this time he got into the crease.
It's been the bread and butter for a lot of these offenses. Get behind X, jump towards goal, and try and get a good shot.
Big possession here by the Steemers, down by 2. 1:23 to play here in the fourth, and there's going to be an over and back called here against the Steemers.
Steemers, unfortunately, doing a lot to try and lose the opportunity and get rid of the momentum they once had. They have failed really to have successful full 5-on-5 possessions. A lot of their transition has been where they've scored their goals, and if they're not going to get those opportunities, they really fall silent on offense.
Jacob Smith trying to play keep away here. He'll get in behind X. About 10 seconds left on the shot clock here. Smith still has it out on the wing. 55 to go in the game. Down the alley. That'll be a save, but it's going to end up being picked up here by Harless for Ohio Horde, and they'll call timeout, Jonathan, with 49 seconds to go. And a tough break for the Steemers as that rebound on the shot attempt where it caromed right over to Harless, who was standing all by himself, easily picked up the ground ball. And now they'll use the timeout here in the second half.
We find ourselves in a situation nearly identical to the first game. 12-10 is the score. The Horde up with the ball. short time left. I'd be curious to see what this Steemers team can come out with.
If the ball was in a different area of the field, they would probably pull their keeper here
Absolutely.
to get the man advantage. But
Absolutely.
this ball's going to start almost right in front of the goal.
Yeah.
It would be nearly impossible to try and pull that maneuver. But you're certainly going to get a couple of guys running at the ball immediately.
For sure. I'm wondering if even they'll send the keeper to the nearest guy.
Maybe.
Try and see if they can disrupt something that way. Short time, you got nothing to lose by doing it. Might as well go for it and see what happens. See if there's someone out there on this team that can make a play. And they'll do just that. Look, the keeper stays.
So they will roll the dice here. So it'll be Ohio Horde, and it'll be Aiden Evans to start with the ball along the wall over here on the near side, right on the line.
Other players getting locked off.
And beautiful pass right in front to Dominic Shaw, who buries his 4th goal of the game, and a 3-goal advantage now should do it for the Horde.
Steemers, they're not doing a good job of disrupting that passing. People forget there's no pass interference in lacrosse. You can check that stick even when they're cutting. So we'd like to see some more aggressive defense, especially in crunch time from the Steemers.
Steemers will stay with the extra attacker here with 44 seconds to play. More than anything, again, talking about a team and players, Jonathan, who haven't played really together before, the Horde executed that perfectly.
Yes, absolutely. The vision was there, and they understood what they needed to do despite the extra pressure. We're able to capitalize, get a goal that gives them the win.
And the Horde end up coming up with that ground ball, all but putting this game away. Under 30 seconds to go now. And again, no keeper here for the Steemers. Will be a violation here against the Horde, but only 22 seconds to go. That pass ends up going out of bounds off of the Horde. Steemers will have it. Knocked to the ground was Van Voorhis. Now they come back up with it. Minetti will try a shot. Another save there by Lopez. It'll be picked up by the Horde with 5 seconds to go in the game. Fires it down the field, and Shaw with 3 straight goals to end the game here tonight. 0.7 of a second remain as Dominic Shaw will score all 3 and the only 3 goals of this 3rd quarter, all coming in the last 3 minutes. And Jonathan, the Ohio Horde, will win it by a score of 14-10.
Yeah, Shaw really showed that he could play good offense in crunch time. Different looks, too. He had the great cut off the double team. He had a real cross half field goal, and then he had the dive that went. I think if the Horde didn't have Shaw, it would be a different score for sure. And not only that, but if they didn't have Lopez early in the game as well.
So Dominic Shaw ends up with 5 goals, 3 of them coming right at the very end. But you have to be, if you're the Steemers, you weren't happy with the first 3 periods. You were definitely happy with the start of the 4th as Minetti and Carawan got into the action, each scoring 3 goals tonight for the Steemers. Hopefully for them, something to build on for next week.
I think what I'm excited about in looking at all these teams is you can see that there's a potential for a high level of balanced competition. No one has really stood out so far as a team that's going to dominate the league. I think if the Steemers find some rhythm offensively, if they learn to possess the ball a little bit better and move how they should, they'd be right up there with the Horde. And I think the Horde even have room for improvement as well. So it's nice to see that the ceiling is there for these teams, and they have to just climb up to it. So
our first night of action, Overpower beat Resolute earlier tonight by a score of 12-10. And here in our second game, it was Ohio Horde over the Stanley Steemers, 14-10. That'll wrap up our coverage tonight. For Jonathan Schroeder, this is Todd Bell saying so long tonight from Resolute Athletic Complex in Columbus.